instruction, golf news, equipment, travel, interviews, course profiles, and more. Your weekly fix of all things golf is about to begin. It's the Flagstick Podcast with your hosts, Jeff Botter and Scott McLeod. Yes, golfers, welcome to another episode of Flagstick Podcast presented by TaylorMade Golf Canada, introducing Stealth with carbon face for better energy transfer and more ball speed. Welcome to the carbon wood age. For more information on Stealth, visit TaylorMadeGolf.ca. Yes, I am Jeff Botter, and with me, as always, is my good buddy Scott McLeod. And Scott, welcome to. I'm sorry, Scott. Welcome to the podcast, Scott.
Wow, I've never been here before.
I'm
tired, like you. Pretty much. I mean, you might be a little bit more tired than me because you've had to deal with a few other things than I have, but following our busy long weekend at Equinel, a little tired still. So
I'm breathing a little easier now. Yeah, I mean, there's still so much. There's still so many people without power. Up here in the Ottawa area, and I know other places across Ontario as well. But we're okay here now. But man, I mean, the title of when you titled the episode this episode "Running on Empty," I mean, I gotta say that couldn't be could be as accurate a title as you could possibly come up with, because even this morning it's Thursday. God, I'm so backwards right now because we are recording the podcast a little later than normal. We are releasing the podcast for those listening or watching it on Friday. We are recording this on Thursday, and normally we do this on Monday or Tuesday. So everything's just a little bit wonky. It's been a wild ride for a while, and it still continues to be a wild ride. But wild rides aside, we do have a really, really good show this episode. We have a lot of really good golf stories, and some of those golf stories will revolve obviously around the storm. We call it the storm, the power outages, the damage and so on that's happened. We also, on the back nine, this all that'll take place on the front nine. On the back nine, this episode, we have our usual things. We have Kevin Haim talking to us about using 3D motion capture to tighten up your turn so you can help you hit better shots. We got a great interview that you did with our Flagstick Open winner, Brennan Smith, and we've got a discussion about a shoe on Product Watch. It's all that's coming up in this episode. We got to before we can get to that, we have to get to the front nine. And the front nine, as always, is presented by our good friends at Metcalf Golf Course. So looking for fun at a great rate, saves 15% when you prepay. Visit metcalfgolf.com for more information. Incidentally, just before we get to that, Metcalf Golf Course, Metcalf Golf Club has the Charity Classic coming up August the 17th, I believe is a Wednesday, August 17th. And we are the title sponsor, have been the presenting sponsor of the Metcalf Charity Classic for quite some time. And that's happening. So go to metcalfgolf.com, check that out, because it's a great cause. And we're huge supporters of it. Obviously, it's right in my community, close to home. But check that out. I just wanted to get that in there because I was just talking to Rob Howell this morning about it. So
it's one of those great hundreds of local events that happen around Canada at golf courses, and this is one of the great things about golf. It's such a great vehicle to support the community. In this case, it's a big supporter for the Osgood Care Center, has been for many years, and as you said, we're proud to be part of that, proud to be involved in that. And certainly if anybody has an opportunity to play in a charity golf tournament this year, it's a double benefit, a big win for everyone. It helps people in your community, and then you get a nice day of golf out of it as well. So, if you have not played in local charity golf tournaments before, check some out, and you never know, you could have a lot of fun, and maybe it'll be something that you put on your calendar every single year.
Might get some good loot out of it too.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so let's talk about I'd say the elephant in the room, but it's not really in the room. Let's talk about the elephant in the region. Saturday night, Saturday afternoon, I should say. The big storm hit, and it was 15 minutes
of hell,
10 or 15 minutes at the most of just some of the most destructive forces that I've seen. We've seen a lot of storms, and I should mention that we were at the Flagstick Open. The Flagstick Open was this past weekend at Equinel, our 10th edition of the Flagstick Open. And we knew, as I'm pretty sure everybody knew, that there was some weather coming. We knew that there was thunderstorms in the forecast. We knew there was some moisture coming. We were very, very much aware of the potential for how bad it might be, and we were monitoring it very, very closely. And it's one of those things when you're playing a golf tournament and weather's coming and thunderstorms are coming. We have, at the Flagstick Open, hats off to our, and yeah, I'm sorry, people, it is going to sound like we're tooting our own horn a little bit here. We're not the only ones that are capable of doing this kind of stuff, but I am going to toot our own horn because it was our big event, and we've talked about it leading up to the event. We talked about it on the podcast quite a bit, but our crew, our rules officials, and I'm mentioning them all: Rich, Jerry, Pat, Gene, Gail. Great crew,
Jerry,
all high level.
And Jerry, did you say Jerry?
I did say Jerry. Yeah, Jerry, our drone technician.
Yeah, exactly.
They aside from going out prior to the tournament and marking the entire golf course, this is not the kind of thing that happens at every amateur golf tournament you're ever going to play in. But they get out and they mark the entire golf course. But it's not just that. It's a lot of the behind the scenes stuff when you come to register, and you come and you get your pin sheets and you get your registration gift, and then you get your local rules sheet. And we were giving out evacuation plan. And it was kind of a bit of a joke at the registration desk. We were calling it evacuation plan, and we were kind of saying, geez, it sounds so morbid. It's like, oh, and here's your evacuation plan. But the reality is that evacuation plan is very important, because when weather systems come in, this is the procedure that's put in place to get the golfers off the golf course safely, and to make sure that they're not out there when this kind of weather hits. And as I said, hats off to them, because we monitored that storm very, very closely for about 2.5 hours before it ever hit. We had a timeline to pull the golfers off the golf course based on what we were tracking, and we moved that timeline up because we felt it might hit sooner. It looked like it was coming, a little faster, and we pulled everybody off the golf course. And when that storm hit, there was nobody on that golf course, nobody. And that's extremely important, because even though Equinel did not get hit quite as hard, like in the heart of where the storm blew through, it did get, the winds were high. It was not a good place to be.
No, they did have tree damage. There were benches rolling over. There was definitely hazards that could impact people for sure.
But nobody was out on that golf course when that storm hit. And we didn't send anybody back out on that golf course until that storm had passed. And we were comfortable, with the playing conditions that we were sending them back out into. And we actually had to go out with leaf blowers and clear off debris from the greens and put benches back in place. And there was some work that had to be done, but we did get the rest of the round in. And then Sunday was a little moist, cold and moist. I feel bad for I feel bad for golfers that have to play in those conditions, but it's a tournament. It's a competitive tournament. You signed up for it. You knew that it was coming. And unfortunately, Sunday was just, it was
Yeah.
not pretty.
Yeah, and I just, I'll just add my point as far as Saturday and dealing with that storm and keeping an eye on it. And we've been running tournaments for a long time, and as you said, we're not exclusive as far as being able to take care of the situation and do it. But this is why it becomes really important as far as the preparation and planning, and taking care of people first over everything. I mean, definitely had a lot of players reach out and say thank you to the team for doing what they did. Also, people that were surprised. I mean, including our champion, who basically said, the horn blew, and they were thinking, well, why are they pulling us off the golf course? But they realized pretty quickly that once they came in and they watched the fury of that storm, through the windows of the clubhouse, they were pretty thankful that we did what we did. So don't feel guilty about it at all. That's for sure. We knew that it was coming, and the worst case scenario is that it misses us, or the best case scenario, really, but that it misses us, and it's fine. And we'll take that criticism over the safety of the golfers and the ability to be able to have everybody out there be safe, get back to the round, and not have to worry about it. And again, we'll talk about the storm specifically and how it impacts the region. I mean, a lot of golf courses were hit hard by this, not only in our region here, but other parts of Ontario. I saw photos today of cleanups in Scarborough and various other places, and a lot of tree damage. Power outages that closed golf courses for several days, and the list, we could go on and on as far as the list. And thankfully, a lot of these golf courses and ranges and other facilities are getting back open now. Happy for them. Kevin Haim, for an example, obviously a sponsor, heavily involved in the show and heavily involved with Flagstick. They lost some trees and stuff out there, but they were able to get clean back up and ready to go. Clubs like Rockland getting back open. Some of them, like the Meadows, they put it out yesterday, they got open, and here's their conditions that they have. They're able to do stuff. Maybe they don't have cash, maybe they don't have, or it's cash only. Maybe they don't have internet, but they're able to get golfers back out there and enjoying things. And certainly, I guess the biggest one that probably has impact. I mean, they're all very important, but given the fact that they're hosting a national championship later on this summer, the Ottawa Hunt Club, and the damage they sustained there.
Well, they were right in the the storm seems to, I mean, I've been out around, running a few errands, checking a few things out. Some of the areas that were very hard hit, specifically in the Ottawa region around Merivale Road, Hawthorne Road, it kind of like a just a sort of a straight path. I mean, I realized this was not necessarily a tornado that touched down, but it was a storm that sort of followed a very specific corridor. And you could see the golf courses that were heavily hit, being the Hunt Club. Meadows was hit fairly, the Canadian Golf Club, Cedar Hill, some of those golf courses right along that sort of corridor, and you can see the power lines that are down, poles that are down across right across roads. I mean, in some cases I was driving across the power line that was on the road, and then they had sort of built a rubber bridge over top of the power line because they can't get rid of it. But they trying to keep the road open, and
scary.
It's four-way stops non-stop all the way up Merivale Road. So I can see, and from the Hunt Club's perspective, there's a lot of, they'll get it done. I mean, this is just what happens. I mean, they'll get it cleaned up, and they'll get the course in the condition and things. There'll be a few less trees, 500 or so to be exact, but they'll get it done, and the tournament in later this summer will happen. And that's just,
and there's a lot of people pitching in there, all their entire staff are pitching in, members are obviously helping there at the Hunt Club, helping the cleanup. I know some other superintendents and staff from some different areas have come up to help the club. And the Golf Course Superintendents Association of Canada has got they've got a sort of a helpline out there now, looking to connect people that are willing to volunteer and facilities that need help. So thankfully, as we said, things will return to normalcy at some point, but just going to look a little bit different. And that's just the way it is. And obviously that impacted us a little bit in the tournament, not only in that way, but trying to get the draw out on Saturday night, no power down at Equinell, no internet, no power at your place, which obviously we were going to do the draw from your place, so had to seek out a Tim Hortons in Winchester.
Thank you, Winchester Tim Hortons, and thank you for staying open for us.
Yeah, they were scheduled to close at 10 o'clock. We got there at 9:58. You started to get on there as far as the draw. I went up to get a coffee, asked the poor guy at the till, and like, have you had power the whole time? And his response was, unfortunately, because they had just been hammered by everybody from around the region, everybody coming there just to get something, hot food, whatever the case may be. And thankfully, although they were closed at 10, they waited till 10:02 to kick us out.
Exactly. Well, fortunately, thank goodness Golf Genius software is so easy to use.
Yes, exactly.
But I was trying so hard to do it at the golf course tethered to my phone, and it just, I didn't have enough internet power to download all the information from the Golf Genius website to be able to do the draw, and it was missing data. And it's like, oh my God, I need regular internet to do this. And I was trying to figure out how I was going to create a spreadsheet so that I can. Then I realized, dang, I use Google Sheets. Not going to work either.
Yeah, it was. We'll just say it was trying circumstances, but we managed to get the event done, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the show.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan. Okay, so we weren't the only golf tournament this weekend. Obviously, there were other golf tournaments, and while a lot of events did get canceled, or postponed, I'll say not canceled, but postponed due to the storm and the power outages. Man, the Play Junior Golf Tour got their season opener in. Like
they did.
I was a little surprised when I found out that they got it in, but it was on Sunday, not Saturday. Thank goodness. No involving junior golfers. It did not want junior golfers to have to experience that, but they got it in at Riverview.
Yeah, they did. So the Play Junior Golf Tour obviously kicked off their 9th season at Riverview, as you mentioned, with the Humber College PGM Spring Open, and they had 80 golfers show up, which was great to see. A great way to kick off the season on a busy weekend for golf in Ontario, especially for juniors. The Spring Classics were going on for Golf Ontario, which we'll get to in a minute, but there were some other events going on. So the fact that they had 80 players out in a matter of, I think, 13 different divisions. So we'll get people to go over to flagstick.com to see the story there, to see the list of all the winners that are there. But I will say I was really impressed when I looked down the list. Junior, I think it was the Pee Wee Boys. Yeah, the Pee Wee Boys was the deepest division, which is kind of nice to see, awesome. Because you sort of expect it when we've covered obviously junior golf for a quarter of a century. You generally will see the junior boys category will be the deepest group of players, and to see it be the Pee Wee Boys, and the fact that over a quarter of the players in the entire tournament were in that class of players, that is great to see, because it shows that there's a lot of good young golfers coming up, people that are interested in playing tournament golf, and it bodes well for the future of junior golf in the region.
Yeah, that's awesome, because that is growth right there.
Yeah,
you're talking, you're getting down into very close to the grassroots level of competitive junior golfers or young golfers at the Pee Wee age, and if you can start them. And that's why tours like Chris Veltkamp's tour, the Play Junior Golf Tour, why they're so important. Because you could call them a developmental tour, you could call them an introductory tour. Sure. They're not part of the really pathway as much now. They're kind of a little bit of everything. But when you can provide that level of tournament experience, because that is very, very important, because it's a roadblock. that a lot of young golfers have to climb over in order to, if they want to escalate to the, you know, next level, because tournament golf is a completely different animal than just going out and playing with your friends at your home club, or green feeing it and just, you know, beating it around and hacking around, because scoring is different. You know, the nerves are different. The whole atmosphere is different. If you can start that at the peewee age, at, you know, with that many kids, and then start to work them up through, by the time they get to juvenile and junior age and really into the competitive golf when it matters most at a junior level, they're going to be seasoned veterans, if you will, like, just, you know, not being as nervous and about competitive tournament golf.
Yeah, and there's other benefits that are there too. I mean, you know, these kids come from all different areas. I mean, I noted, you know, one of the kids came in from, you know, Madoc to play in the tournament. Golfers get exposed to different golf facilities around the region. You know, it becomes aspirational as far as where they want to go and play. They also make friends too that are lifelong friends as far as tournament play. I mean, I know plenty of 40-year-olds right now that I can remember when they were, you know, 15 or less, that, you know, got to know each other through tournaments and now are lifelong friends, you know, through the game of golf. So that's important as well, that they form those bonds. They may be future college teammates, spouses. We've seen that as well. I mean, we look at Scott McElroy and Tara McElroy. Scott, obviously the head pro at Equinel, and Tara is a pro as well at Ottawa Hunt. You know, I go back and I see their names in junior tournaments years ago, and now they have 3 kids and they're married. So yeah, you never know.
There you go. Golf Ontario had their spring junior classic at the same on this past weekend as well, right?
Yeah, they did. 2 different locations for that. It was shortened. The one location was at Uxbridge, which obviously was impacted greatly by the storm. That was up at Wooden Sticks where the boys were playing, and that got reduced to 2 rounds. Ben Mclean ended up winning that championship, playing very well there. Ellis Kinnaird from the Mississippi Golf Club ended up finishing 3rd. He was right in the mix, kind of right till the end there, which was great to see. And I believe Isaiah Ebbett played very well in that one as well. Another golfer here from Greyhawk in Ottawa. And then the girls were playing down in Fenwick, Ontario, down in the Niagara region. They were not affected as much. Lindsay McGrath ended up winning that, and there was some fine play there by some other golfers from the Ottawa region, including Ashley LaFontaine, who's obviously on the national team.
And we should just point out for the results of the Play Junior Golf Tour, you can go to flagstick.com, or you can visit the Play Junior Golf Tour website as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And get all the results of that. There's generally a deeper list of names and stuff for Play Junior Golf Tour events. So check those out. Now, moving up the ranks a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
The Toronto Players Tour was at Trillium Wood in Belleville/Corbyville.
Yes, exactly. They finished up yesterday. Had a strong field showed up there to play at Trillium Wood. A lot of these pros that are involved with this, there's some amateurs in that field as well, but a lot of the pros there are getting ready to play PGA Tour Canada, which is about to embark on their schedule. Jesse Smith ended up being the victor there. I believe he ended up at 13 under par, 64, 67 to win that. So strong play there by Jesse. And I think he finished 4th in the first event of the year on that circuit. So he's firmly in first place there. But nice to see some of the, you know, pro events, the development tours, whatever, you know, come down and play in this region. And I know there's some other ones that are scheduled later on the year, but, you know, fine play there by Jesse Smith.
Nice. Okay. Now, we were talking about the Meadows earlier. The Meadows was hit fairly extensively, but they're up and running, and the OVGA runs a scramble.
Yeah, they do.
The spring scramble. And it was at the Meadows.
Yeah, so you know, it's basically the first adult event of the year for the Ottawa Valley Golf Association schedule, and that was held on Friday, so day before the storm. got it in there. Really strong mix of players there. Kind of fun that they actually pointed out that Jim Davidson, who's involved with their junior program, got back into play and was playing in that event. But in the women's division, it was a familiar name, and Louise Hout from Buckingham and Madeline Barnes from Rivermaid, who ended up winning the women's gross division. I got the list here. Diane Dolan from Highlands and Carol Latondra from Cowansville. Obviously, very familiar names there. They captured the women's net division. Men's division gross went to Ryan Jacobs from Highlands and Sean Dubé, who's an Ontario public player. Ian Lazenby of the Marshes and Kevin McGuire from Haute Plaine won the men's net division. And in the mixed division, Karine Desroches and Dominique Boucher from Club de Golf Triangle d'Or won the mixed gross division with a score of 70. Stephanie Lemaire and Richard, I don't have a last name for him, from Cedar Hill, won the mixed net division with a score of 65. He's so famous, they just call him by his first name, just Richard there. So I'll double check what that is. But again, if people want to have a look at that and catch the full scoring, just hop on to flagstick.com and we've got a link there. And I'll fix that missing last name there if I can find it as well.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
You're a little punch drunk here, Jeff.
I guess so. Sleep. Okay, we're almost through the front nine here, Scott, and you can take a little bit of a break. But one last thing we want to touch on before we do take that break is one player that we've been following for a number of years now and has a plan and is working on achieving his goals, and is a two-time winner of the Flagstick Open. Yep. And now has turned pro and is just finishing up a stint with the PGA Tour Latino America. And will be coming back up here to play PGA Tour Canada at some point, is Noah Steele. And he just, as a pro, sponsorship is very important. And he just inked a bit of a deal, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. It was great to see Noah. He came home last week. He's back down in Guadalajara, Mexico right now, and then heads to Colombia for a couple of weeks. And then, as you said, once the Tour Championship wraps up down in PGA Tour LA, he'll be back up to play the Canadian Tour. But in the meantime, he's been signed on as an ambassador at TPC Toronto at Osprey Valley, a facility where he won on the Canadian Tour last year. He won the Osprey Valley Open in 2021 as an amateur, shooting 23 under par there. They've signed a multi-year deal with him. He's very familiar with the facility. They use it a fair bit for Team Canada, which he's part of, for some training camps and so forth. And he's pretty excited. He loves that facility up there. He basically has the logo for TPC Toronto on his left sleeve. And, he'll represent them as far as a playing professional, an ambassador for them. He's obviously a member at Cataraqui in Kingston as well, but, it's an endorsement deal with TPC Toronto. And that helps support him be out there on tour. And it's a good marriage for him and that facility.
Perfect. No, I'm glad to see good things happening for him. I particularly like to see good things happening for people that put in the work, and to achieve their goals, they put in the work, they work hard, and good things happen to people like that. So, all right, that's a lot pushed through on our front nine. I'm exhausted again, running on empty, as the title of this episode indicates. But we got to take a break. I got to pay some bills, and when we come back, we're going to hit the lesson tee. We're going to have an interview that Scott did following the Flagstick Open with Brennan Smith. And we're going to do a little product watch. And we're going to do all that on the back nine. So don't go away. Stay with us. We're going to be right back.
Over the past 40 years, you've inspired us to make a lot of great drivers. All great, but all eventually reach their limit. But while we were making all these drivers for the present, we were also hard at work making the next generation of driver. Because where titanium ends, carbon begins.
And we are back and ready to start the back nine on the Flagstick podcast, which is presented by Golf Sim Gurus. Work on your game all year round in the privacy of your own home. Custom golf simulator setups built to your specs to fit your budget. Visit golfsimgurus.ca to learn more. Okay, so let's dive into the back nine, and I guess we'll jump into the back nine by heading out to the lesson tee. The lesson tee is presented by Kevin Haim Golf School, and if you want to get better, it's always a good time to get better. Whether you need private lessons, a better short game, some putting help, or even custom club fitting, visit kevinhaim.com. And remember that better golf is a lot more fun. Now, on the lesson tee, Kevin is going to use the Gears 3D motion capture setup that he has out there to teach us, or to explain to us how tightening up your turn will help you hit better shots. So check this out.
Time for another quick tip, golfers. Today we're working on my spine tilt, the angle I have to my spine at address. Jake, what should that number be? I'm going to hit one. You describe what we're looking for in those numbers.
Well, as one hand is lower than the other, there's going to be a slight tilt to your shoulders. So your spine should be between 91 and 3 degrees with an iron, and 92 to 5 degrees back with a driver.
Yeah, most importantly, so iron's a little less than a driver, but we want it to be the same at the top of the swing. We're looking for pretty close numbers. What have I got here, Jake?
So you're straight up and down at 90 degrees at the start, and in your backswing, you're at 90.2. So you move 0.1 degrees in the entirety of that rotation.
That's amazing. I'd like to see another degree or two, although the fact that I've maintained it to 0.1 of a degree should teach a lot of you that if you're moving around trying to create speed, you're probably hurting your golf swings. That's cool.
Well, I like the technology. I'm kind of an old school guy when it comes to a lot of things golf, but you can't knock the technology that's out there and how it can improve. And this Gears 3D motion capture stuff, it really does, if you're really into the technical side of things, and some people are and some people aren't, but if you're really into it, seeing the numbers and really gives you a clear visual picture, just without having an understanding of what your body is doing on your own. Seeing those numbers can really kind of help tell you, hey, you know what? Your spine angle is to this, it's to that. You're turned too much this way. You're not aligned straight, and obviously you use this kind of technology all the time as well.
Yeah, 3D capture technology, and a lot of the technologies are really just about measurement more than anything, and they really quantify change. So, if you're working with a coach and you're working towards making a change in your golf swing for a specific region, it actually shows you when you make the change, which is great. I mean, a coach can stand there all they want and tell you that you've made the change, but when a person really clearly sees that they're able to make the change or not make the change,
yeah,
they maybe see from a field perspective that they need to go more extreme or less extreme, whatever the case may be, to achieve what they're trying to do, it just quantifies it. And, that just makes it more tangible. And as a result of it, it's tools like this that make it a lot easier from not only from a coaching standpoint, but from a learning standpoint.
And we are all about making this ridiculously difficult game easier. So
Yeah.
Any little bit helps. Let's put it to you that way. Any little bit helps.
For sure.
Okay, so now thanks, Kevin and Jake. Got to keep thinking Jake, because Jake's in on all these videos now. Pretty soon Jake's going to be doing the videos by himself, so he'll shove Dad aside. Anyways, no, he won't. Dad'll always be there. So as we talked about at the beginning of the show, we talked about the Flagstick Open and how that happened. We were kind of focused really very much on the Storm side of things, and the operation of the event over there. But the event did happen, and we did have winners. So before we get to your interview with our ultimate winner, why don't we just go over the other winners in the other divisions, because it is a tournament that is. We do have an overall champion, and that's kind of like, the big trophy goes to the overall champion. And, but we do have 4 divisions aside from an overall champion. We have an A, B, C, and D division.
Yep.
And this was probably, if I look back at previous events and I look back at how the divisions break up, this was probably at the A, B, and C divisions, like the tightest I've seen you know,
Super
in quite
competitive.
some time. Like there were players in C division, at the top end of the C division. And that doesn't always necessarily mean anything. When I look at the indexes and see somebody's a 4, somebody's a 6, or somebody's a 2, or somebody's an 8, anybody can play well on any given day. Indexes are more of an average over a longer period of time of what you're capable of shooting. Not necessarily what you do shoot on any given day. And weather conditions make things a lot different as well. You know, I mean, I'm the type of player, I think right now my Golf Canada index online is probably like a 2. But I don't think I've played a round of golf that I actually could put into the computer as a legitimate round of golf in a couple of years. So I'm not sure what kind of a 2 I am. So anybody listening that hears me say that I'm a 2 and wants me as your ringer in your scramble team,
let's play for some cash off that 2.
No, you don't want any part of that, because I could be a 2 or I could be a 20 that day. Very easily. I am known to put it off the hosel on a regular basis. Anyways, I digress. The A division, B division split this year was basically A-B split was at 0 scratch.
Yep.
You know, so if you were scratch, you were in A, and if you were 0.1, you were in B. And then when you got down to the bottom of B was 4.5. The top of C was 5. And then you go down to the bottom of C, and the bottom of C, I think, initially cut off was, I think, 10.4, but then as we had withdrawals and people coming in before the tournament, it slid up, and I think it was around 10. I think that's what it would end up being. So you're talking C division was 5 to 10.
Super competitive.
Crazy. And then D division is a little bit more widespread because we don't have anything after D. So you do end up with some guys that are 20, 25, 15, 12. But again, you know, it was a super competitive division, but we had 4 division winners. And before we get to the interview with our big winner, why don't we just get a snippet of who those winners were?
So A division ended up being Jared Coyle. You know, he was one of the co-leaders after round 1 with Brennan Smith and Peter Beneteau. They were at 4 under after day 1. And Jared was actually surprised because they sort of, when we announced him as the A, they sort of forget that A exists, you know, below the overall winner. So they're like, oh, okay. But obviously he played pretty well during the day and pretty impressed. Made a few mistakes, as he said, coming home on Sunday, but overall he gets the title in A. Jonah O'Connor from Renfrew won the B division. He won that in a playoff with Paul Ridyard. It was a 1-hole playoff. I went out for that. It was a little cool out there, but unfortunately Paul's par conversion missed out, and Jonah managed to capture that, which is neat. He was part of that team that won the RBC Scramble last fall at Cabot Links, so no stranger to a title there. And as he said, honestly, it was unreal for him. He just expected to come down and have a little bit of fun, and next thing you know, he takes that away. And one of his good buddies, Jager Pratt, another guy from out the valley, he took the last entry into the tournament. He snuck in, played solid, as he said, both days. And you got to remember here, C division, it's 76. So that's our 3rd division. So people shouldn't relate this to maybe a C flight that they see at an association event or whatever. It's our 3rd division more than anything. And he said it was great. And then Ken Robson, who is played this tournament 3 times. Always been in the prizes, just a nice gentleman. He surprised himself and managed to get the win in D. So he just said it was very special for him to be able to win the tournament. Slightly older golfer, but as I said, just a real gentleman, and great to see him in the field and competing. And he was totally delighted to win the D division.
That's cool. Now we should just, because we're kind of wrapping up the Flagstick Open here, and before we get to your interview, the Flagstick Open, just so people understand, and this is going to follow suit similar to with the Flagstick 2-ball in the fall, which we will mention very quickly at the end of the show about the registration for that. But we make these tournaments, we make the tournament about the experience, about the registration gifts, you know, we put the dollars that we bring into the event, not specifically into a deep prize pool, but into making sure that all of the participants are walking away with some good stuff just for participating. So to bring it into perspective for people, the registration gift this year was a TaylorMade quiver bag, a adidas cap, which those watching can see right here, nice little cap, an adidas quarter zip pullover, an adidas belt. Well, you're Scott, and those watching, they can see Scott's wearing the Adidas.
Hard to tell, it's black, but yes.
A quarter zip pullover, the hat, the belt, and a dozen TaylorMade TP5X balls. That's just for registering.
Yeah.
And then you get your 18 holes of golf.
36.
Sorry. I
18 a day.
I meant 18 a day, but 30, you get 36 holes of golf. You get range balls before your round as part of your registration, and you get a steak dinner on the Saturday night of the event. And that's just for playing, and that's what you get for your $230.
Yeah,
you know, plus tax. But then if you happen to be in the top 3 in each category, the winner of a division this year received a TaylorMade Spider putter. Each of the winners, so there's four winners. The second place person got a TaylorMade Stealth fairway wood, and the third place position got a TaylorMade Tech Light stand bag. And the overall winner received a full set of TaylorMade P770 irons. So that's the prizes. So yeah, we go 3 deep in each category, and we have an overall champion. But that's the prizes that's what this event is. So if you're listening or you're watching, that's what you get for playing. Now, I understand why this tournament sells out the way it does is not just because of all of that, but it's also because of the things that we talked about at the beginning about, you know, the registration, the rules officials that are out there, the experience, you know, the custom tee markers on the tee, the custom flags. We put brand new flags out on the golf course for the tournament this year to go in line with our rebranding of the Flagstick company and the Flagstick brand. The condition of the golf course, the host course that we have, and all of that is part of that total experience. That's why this tournament sells out.
Yeah, and we have to, you know, give a big thank you there to the team at TaylorMade and the team at Adidas for you know, the continued sponsorship. You know,
best partners ever. Like,
really, you know, just working with them has been great, and you know, their support of this event. And again, it goes back to the fact that you know, they recognize how important this tournament is to a lot of players. You know, we had players from as far as Nova Scotia playing this week. 2 other thank yous as well. Obviously, you know, Equinel did a great job under trying circumstances. As we mentioned, you know, we had a power outage Saturday night, and they managed to pull off a steak dinner for the players until basically light ran out on Saturday night, despite the fact that there was no power. And, you know, they were back at it the next morning again with no power. Manager Rick Milks and head pro Scott McEnroy, Chris Vallette, the superintendent. I mean, you know, they just went all out to make sure things ran well. And then one last mention before you get to things, Rich Mclean, who's been our head rules official for 10 years for this event. You know, he is retired now, and he's not sure if he's going to be back for another edition of this tournament. And
we'll see what we can do about that.
We'll see what we can do about that, as far as, you know, maybe flying him back in or whatever the case may be, doing something to attract him back in. But we want to give a special thank you to him and his team, as you mentioned earlier, for their extreme levels of effort, especially under trying circumstances.
Very much so. Very much so. Okay. So without further ado, we had an overall champion. That overall champion this year was Brennan Smith. That was not only our overall champion this year, but he is now a 2-time. He joins a small group that includes the aforementioned Noah Steele and Robert Mustard as players who have won the Flagstick Open twice. He's a back-to-back winner. And after the event ended, you had a chance to sit down with Brennan and have a talk about the tournament, his victory, and golf. So let's take a listen to that interview right now.
All right, we've just completed play here at the 10th Flagstick Open Amateur Championship presented by TaylorMade Golf and Adidas Golf Canada, and we're with the champion, Brennan Smith, who has repeated as the champion, defended the title that he won in 2021. Brennan, how was the weekend for you?
The weekend was a bit long. Rain delay yesterday made it for a 6.5 hour round, and then today was just cold and windy and made for quite a long day.
What were your expectations coming into the weekend here? I know you're coming off a win at your home club, the Amateur Golf Club down just near Kingston, winning the opening day here. What was your mindset coming into this week?
Yeah, anytime you're going to play an event, the mindset is hopefully to win. So that was the mindset. Playing well, haven't played a whole lot, but times I've played well. So I love the golf course here too. So, anytime I come here, I think I have a chance as long as I, keep it together a little bit.
So you get done yesterday, you get to 4 under par. You've got a couple other players that are there as well. Were you content with the day, given the fact that you had the significant weather delay?
Yes and no. Had some spots yesterday where I thought I left a few out there, and then the rain delay, unfortunately, I had just played a couple easy holes right before, and a couple guys got to play those after, and we know the wind had died right down. So it came out of the rain delay and made 2 birdies, so you can't be upset, but I knew that the other guys were going to do well coming out of that rain delay.
So you arrive here today, you're 4 under par, and then, you show up and maybe the weather's not exactly what you thought it might be. What did you think there as far as how you were prepared and what was going to happen for the day?
Yeah, I packed 0 pairs of pants, 0 sweaters. Luckily, I found a pair of baggy rain pants, which will probably be pictured somewhere, and a very, very thin sweater that was crammed in the bottom of my golf bag. So it was not ideal. I was definitely looking to the pro shop maybe to go buy some clothes, but we got away with it. And I was frozen, but we got through it.
Yeah, it was a bit of a fight out there for you guys, not only from a playing perspective, but, from a weather perspective as well. Not only the rain, but the cooling temperatures. How did you maintain your focus out there?
Yeah, I got off to a hot start today, so I birdied 1 from the lip of the bunker, which was great. So that kind of eases everything right into it, open up a lead. Felt really good. 8 holes was just flawless, easy golf, and it probably should have been 2 or 3 under, and I was 1. And then it got interesting for 5 holes. I threw away the lead, and then I got it back, and then held on to it. But it was basically hold on to the wheel with both hands as tight as you could. I
mean, you've played a lot of tournament golf, so in that situation, are you focused mostly on yourself, or are you looking to see what the other players are doing? How do you handle that?
Yeah, mindset for me in a tournament, when you're around the lead, at least, is the front 9. I'm just trying to play golf, just try to play as well as I can. And if you get to the back 9, you got a big lead, then you can manage your way around it. But as I knew today with a double on 9, that I made it an interesting tournament. So I knew where they were at that point and kind of had an idea where we were. But at the end of the day, it's all about just making birdies. So
does that carry over for you as you come down 18? You've got a bit of a lead there, but it is a par 5, and it's certainly one that you can score on. Do you try to be conservative and sort of protect that lead, or do you try to just play it aggressive like you normally would?
Yeah, so Pete had just made bogey on 17. I made par, so I'd opened up a 2-shot lead. So I knew it was a 3-shot hole today. I wasn't going to risk anything silly. But I still wanted to birdie. I wanted to shoot even par. I didn't want to shoot around over par today. So there was definitely still the want to make birdie, and then left a 12-foot birdie putt 3 feet short. So really aggressive. So
first off, what's it mean for you to defend a title? I don't know if you've done that in your career. Has there been another title that you've won consecutively?
Yeah, there's one, but I'm not sure it really counts. It's the Loyalist Club Championship. I'm not sure it really counts, but no, never actually done that before. So this is kind of a new experience as far as an actual high level event, defending, and the confidence coming in here, knowing that I won last year, and then going into the round today, being around the lead, I felt really confident all day. I didn't get nervous today. I felt really good all day, which was awesome.
So what are you thinking when you come into the tournament here and you look down the field? Obviously you play in the Kingston area now, but you previously played in the Ottawa area. Do you just kind of look down there and you see that field of competitors, and you're going to be proud that if you're able to get past them all to get the victory?
So normally I look through a field before I play. I actually didn't for this at all. I looked at my tee time on Thursday or Friday, whenever that came out there, and saw I was playing with Daniel, so I know Daniel, and that's pretty much, I know some of the guys here, so I see their name like right behind me on the tee sheet from day one, but I didn't really look down it and scan it because I know there's always a lot of guys from here that I won't know. So like Jared, who I played with today, great player, couple couple unfortunate errors for him, but he's a great player and young, but I didn't know who he was. So it's nice to see new players and see the young crop of kids who's coming up.
So now you join a very exclusive club as a two-time winner, joining Robert Mustard and Noah Steele as a two-time champion. What's your motivation here now to come back and win a third time and, surpass those two-time previous champions?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Those two guys are both special players. So to be in their company is pretty cool for me. I like to hear that, and I hope I can be as good a player as Musty is continually every year. And obviously we know where Noah's playing, and I'm not near that level anymore. So, but it's cool. I just love playing tournament golf. So I'm just happy to be here and have a chance to win.
So overall, what's it really mean for you to win this title? As I said, you've already won your opening day tournament at your club, and now you've won this. What's it feel like going forward as far as the year is concerned? Yeah,
I just love winning. Winning's the whole reason you play sports. So that's the reason you show up, and it feels great to do it. And my friends and family are all been texting me, which is a lot of fun. So everyone's super supportive and excited, and that's what makes it great.
Well, Brennan Smith, thank you very much for joining us here on the Flagstick podcast, and congratulations for winning the 2022 Flagstick Open Amateur Championship presented by TaylorMade Golf Canada and Adidas Canada. We look forward to having you back as you try to win your third consecutive title in 2023.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Scott.
Wow. Do you want to wrap that up, Scott?
Yeah, you know what? It was funny because I think Brendan was a little bit hesitant at first about, sitting down to do a podcast interview, a little bit lengthy, longer than maybe what you usually do after a tournament. But I think he rather enjoyed that, actually, when we sat down and had a chat. Yeah, it was good just to be able to go up there and sit in the library at Equinell and have a good chat, not only about this tournament, but, kind of what it means to him. And again, he's a guy who, he's an interesting road in amateur golf. He grew up in the Ottawa area, but eventually migrated down towards the Kingston area, has played very well in the last couple of years as an amateur. He had a brief stint, as a playing professional, but got his amateur status back, and he's really enjoying life and the game now. And he really exudes, somebody, like I said, who really enjoys the game. And as a result of it, he doesn't put as much pressure on himself, and he's seeing some good results. And, we're happy to have him as a return champion.
Beautiful. Okay. So that puts a wrap on the Flagstick Open.
Yeah.
But it does not put a wrap on the Flagstick podcast just yet. We want to talk a little product watch. So obviously we both love golf shoes.
Here we do.
I love golf shoes.
Far too much.
Yeah. If I played more, I'd be able to wear more of my beautiful golf shoes because I have some really nice ones. In this week's product watch, we're going to take a look at a new model that's just released with a little bit of a major pedigree. And as always, Product Watch is brought to you by Greensmere Golf and Country Club. Save 40% on all daily green fee rates with Flex Pass for only $425 plus tax. Visit greensmere.com for more information. All right, Scott, let's talk about these golf shoes with the major pedigree.
Yeah. So just a few years back, ASICS is a company that a lot of people are familiar with, more for running shoes. I know I wore their volleyball shoes back in the day, but they got into the golf shoe business here in North America. They'd offered shoes in the Asian markets and European markets before, and so they introduced some models a couple years ago. And now what they've done is they brought to market the shoe worn by one of their famous endorsees, Hideki Matsuyama, the Masters champion from 2021. And the new Gel Ace Pro M Standard are these shoes. And you know what? They look great, super comfortable. I haven't had a chance to try on this model, but I had their previous model and tried that on. Really bring a lot of what they've learned with their running shoes to the golf market. So a lot of stability there, still solid amount of grip, but a lot of comfort more than anything. So it's kind of a nice marriage. These are waterproof upper shoe, has a solid midsole that sort of has a good amount of cushioning, sort of extends the life of the shoe as well, and pretty lightweight, which is really important for a lot of people, especially, if they play a lot of golf, maybe they play more than 18 holes, they want a lightweight shoe, and, a lot of support there. So not a brand that a lot of people people are maybe, familiar with in the golf market, but certainly one that's growing. At the same time as well, their previous shoe, which was called the Gel Course Duo Boho, they added a couple more colors to that as well. So those launched on May 25th. Wide range of sizes. Pro-Am Standard, I believe, sells for about $259. The Duo Boa about $239. Just in men's right now, they're looking at other expanding out to other different markets and things for these shoes, sizes 7 to 14. But just a neat to see other brands that are known for high quality products in other segments of the market coming into the golf market.
Cool. All right, check it out. Now we're running up against it, running out of time here. We want to make sure that we get through one last thing. As we talked about with the Flagstick Open, we've put a wrap on the Flagstick Open. You can go to flagstickopen.com and see all the results and all the divisions there. If you're looking for a buddy, you can look at the hole by holes. Everything is right there, very detailed. As we turn the page on that, we are starting to open the book on our new event in the fall at Brockville Country Club, September 10th and 11th. It's the Flagstick 2-Ball Championship. And registration for the Flagstick 2-Ball Championship is now open. I opened it this morning. I'm just working on a little link issue here, but by the time this podcast is out and everyone's listening to it, the registration will be fully open and people can sign up for that. There's a few more details that we're going to iron out with our sponsor for the Flagstick 2-Ball, but as you said earlier, the plan is it's a Flagstick event, and we do them up the same way. And this one will be no different, except that it'll be a completely different format. It is a 2-ball format, stable for scoring system, accumulated totals. So both scores, both players count and are marked as a Stableford. So make a 4 you make a par, it's a par, it's a +1, I think, based on our scoring standard. So the idea is plus is good, minus is bad. And it's a combined team score. So we'll have the partners, you got to play out each hole. But there is a maximum number of strokes per hole that you can lose points on. So we won't be making quads and triples and whatnot. So
it should be fun. Some good feedback from the players, especially those at the Flagstick Open, talking about grabbing their partners. Great opportunity to get a competitive round in the fall, but in a fun format. One that you can maybe be a little bit more aggressive, try to make more birdies, more eagles, whatever the case may be, but have a partner over 2 days, probably a little less pressure than an individual stroke play event. And as we mentioned before, it'd be nice to be back at the Brockville Country Club,
very much so.
10th, 11th, I believe.
10th, 11th. It's a weekend event. There's a meal involved. There's a good registration package, good prizing. A few extras when it comes to the food and beverage side of things. Brockville's going to do some things a little different, with some of the players on both days. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be competitive, but it's going to be fun. And your stress level is as much as you want it to be. Put it that way. You don't have to be stressed out if you don't want to be, but if you and we'll, as always, we'll hybrid set up the golf course. For both, there's going to be 2 divisions, or sorry, 4 divisions. Did we say 4? 4 divisions. So we'll set the course up accordingly, and it'll be good and competitive and fun and scoreable for everybody. So that's coming up in September. But you can head on over to flagstick.com and click on Flagstick events, Flagstick 2-Ball, and register for that event there. And one last thing before we shut it down: the Flagstick head covers are here.
Yes.
Flagstick head covers that we talked about, they're now here. There's 3 boxes across from me here, but that's all I have. Okay. So there's only 3 boxes of them. That's not that many. Go to flagstick.com, click on the Flagstick head covers ad or post that's there, and you can order and purchase them from the website. So do that, get one before they're all gone. And because I'm not bringing this particular one back in anytime soon. So awesome. Well, we got to get out of here. I got other things to do today. I want to thank Brennan Smith for taking the time to sit down with Scott after the tournament and do the interview following the Flagstick Open. Awesome interview. Thanks to our sponsors, Metcalf Golf Club, Golf Sim Gurus, Greensmere Golf and Country Club, Kevin Haim Golf School, and of course, our presenting sponsor, TaylorMade Golf Canada. Check out the new Stealth line of golf equipment at taylormadegolf.ca, and welcome to the carbon wood age. Well, I really hope that you are continuing to enjoy listening and watching our podcast. Be sure to follow us across all the social media channels, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Subscribe on Spotify, Audible, and Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to visit the YouTube channel and subscribe to us there. Like us, click on that notification bell to make sure that you get every single episode whenever we release it. Get on over to flagstick.com, and as always, great stuff is happening on that website every single day, and you don't want to miss any of it. As always, we appreciate you tuning in. Until next week, I am Jeff Potter.
And I'm Scott McLeod.
And always remember, go for the stick.